All systems go, friend or foe. It's all dependent on the dice you throw. Come without a warning like a UFO. You're running with the devil. It's touch and go. Emerson, Lake, and Powell. Touch and go. Now, kids, we passed the roadblock on the road to WrestleMania. The New Day creates an international incident. Mick Foley is a Greek bearing strange gifts. And we get the return of a Roman. All on tonight's Raw. Also, we're going to go over our top 100 match. It's Masado Tanaka versus Mike Awesome from ECW Heatwave 1998. As we go to this week's Shake Them Ropes, happy birthday to us. We turn 2 this week. Joining me right now, the host of Shake Them Ropes, a man who in his moonlighting job congratulated the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, so he is dead to me.
Yeah.
Mr. Rob McCarran.
Hi, Jeff. Hi.
Hi.
Every week we do this show, and I think we have it down as far as the tech goes. Tonight we had it down, and guess what happened?
Things blew up.
As soon as I hit OK to start streaming, right on time for the first time maybe ever, right on time, that is when the entire service I used to upload the show to YouTube crashed.
Okay.
So it was me and you sitting there silently while I furiously tried to fix everything for a good 5 to 7 minutes. And I think I have it now. So if this show somehow just goes away for a minute or two during this program, it's because we crashed. And you know what? I will warn you right now. If this show goes off the air because of a crash, we're not going to try and restart it live on the YouTube stream. We are recording right now Shake Them Ropes, the audio podcast. So if for some reason the video goes out, I apologize. But you will be able to download the podcast like normal on Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, voicesofwrestling.com. But Jeff, I wanted to thank you for doing this show. It's very, very, it's not necessarily late where you are, but it's late for you because of your schedule.
My body, yes, for my body clock, it is very, very late.
Yeah, so I want to appreciate you for doing this show. It's the road to WrestleMania, so I thought it would be a cool idea, maybe once at least. We didn't do the show live after Roadblock, and you know what? It's probably a good thing we didn't because nothing happened. As we both had kind of thought. I mean, you thought there would be an NXT tag title change, and I definitely saw all the arguments for that. But there was nothing after Roadblock you absolutely had to talk about.
Well, I thought they'd win. I didn't necessarily think that they would get the tag team titles because if you're bringing them up to the main roster, Enzo and Cass, of whom we speak, I thought you'd want to keep them strong for all the viewers you're bringing over to watch. My major problem with Roadblock, it was mostly an enjoyable show with the exception, I think, of that Sami Zayn Stardust match kind of dragged. Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a 7. I thought it was solid throughout.
Yeah.
The problem for me is, if you're going to push people to watch a special on the network, there has to be a reason to watch it. Something has to happen. Not just filler material for the next Raw, to push the next Raw and what's going to happen there. I mean, there has to be a cliffhanger. There has to be some juice. There has to be some chatter going away from the special to the Raw. That's the whole point of having this kind of symbiotic relationship where you're pushing something on your network show to get people to buy subscriptions to then watch something. That's my only real major gripe. Overall, it was a fine show. I enjoyed most of the matches.
It was a fun show, for sure. It was enjoyable. And the main event Triple H and Dean Ambrose was, I thought, fantastic. I really liked it a lot. So, it was a worthwhile show to watch, but as far as having to do a live show afterwards, I didn't really feel that need myself.
No, there was nothing newsworthy, and that's
nothing newsworthy whatsoever. Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for joining us in the live YouTube chat. If you have questions, comments, or thoughts that you would like to get on the air, we are all ears. So get those chat comments in. If you're listening on the iTunes or Downcast or Stitcher or any podcast feed after the fact, thank you for listening to Shake Them Ropes. We have Raw to talk about, Roadblock to talk about, another great Jeff Hawkins opening to the show. Really? For those who are watching on video, no Jeff Hawkins tonight. I tried, but the thing that was allowing me to get Jeff Hawkins on the screen tonight was what caused it to crash, and then I could not get that to come back for me. So
for those of you into theater of the mind, I am wearing a University of Virginia hat and an LA Kings jersey. So imagine away.
Imagine what he looks like. He got this all brand new setup, and now you can't even see it on the show. But we have a lot. We also have, as you said, Masado Tanaka and Mike Awesome from Heatwave 1998. to get to in our top 100 matches is match number 41, I believe is what you said there. Match number 41 on the list. But let's go into the roadblock, I guess, really quickly, because I talked about how there wasn't a lot that happened. I mean, Dean Ambrose and Triple H went out and had a really good match. Triple H wins. They tried to be a little creative, getting the Dean Ambrose foot under the rope during a pin kind of angle going, which didn't quite work because one, I mean, it wasn't like he was clearly under the ropes, and he was really looking really awkward. Dean Ambrose was to try and get his own foot under the rope. And you don't often see that where the guy making the pin is going to be stopped because the guy making the pin's foot is under the rope. So it was a little wonky there. I think they lost the crowd at that moment probably. But Triple H retains the title, and now Dean Ambrose is fully away from the world title picture as he goes on to Brock Lesnar. No change in any of the matches coming up at WrestleMania because of this or any other match on the show.
Well, I think the credibility issue comes where the referee can see the foot under the rope, but can't see Triple H's foot on the ropes. You know, I think that was the major problem with the ending or going towards that. I know it didn't end on that. I know it ended on a clean pedigree, which to me felt a little anticlimactic that he struggles to get back in the ring, kick, wham, pedigree, 1, 2, 3. I just kind of went, that's kind of a down note. But I'll give the WWE this. Let me get this point out, and then I'll let you rebut. I apologize. I thought they did a good job of trying to cover it up with the NFL inspired red line under the ring. Yeah. I thought that was inspired. They tried to explain it away. They tried very hard. They
tried to do something. You know, I'm not going to fault them for trying to be creative, and especially you can do something like that on a Saturday night house show. I mean, for the few people, because I think everyone kind of knew what this was going in. There was a lot of people. There were some people with hope that Dean Ambrose might either win or somehow there would be a change in the WrestleMania main event and he might be added. Mm-hmm. There were people with hope that the NXT tag titles might change. There was a lot of hope on this show. But as far as what actually was going to happen, I thought this went pretty paint by the numbers. And it's a fun show that you can watch on the Saturday night. Was it important? Was it part of WWE canon? Not really. And it didn't change anything for WrestleMania, including that tag title. Both tag titles. I mean, the New Day wins. It did kind of, you know, jumpstart their feud with the League of Nations, because that's a match we got added to WrestleMania tonight on Raw. We got the League of Nations going up against New Day. Do you think it's going to be 3-on-3, or will New Day find a fourth member?
I think it's going to be one of those we're not going to tell you till we get there. In terms of it'll be a 2-on-2, and they'll both kind of play coy as to which combination is going to go in there.
So you think it's going to be a tag title match?
Yes.
Oh, I think
that's the only reason to kind of do this, unless there's a special guest star that they have in the wings for a 4-on-4 tag match.
They could do a special guest star as far as the New Day. They could do a 3-on-3 and maybe leave. I don't know. Does anyone else have another match? Alberto Del Rio doesn't have a match. Maybe one of them goes into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which I don't believe was mentioned on Raw tonight, but WWE.com spoiled it. They announced the match as happening on WrestleMania. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal is coming back.
Maybe the New Day gets revenge on this beating by taking out one of the guys.
You can also have, I mean, you can have people work double duty too. I mean, if you have the New Day versus League of Nations, you can still have all of them in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, especially if it goes on pre-show, if you wanted to. I thought the Sami Zayn Stardust placement and match type was interesting at Roadblock because it was average. I mean, it was a regular house show match that they had on television. The crowd, a Toronto crowd, wasn't that hyped to see what they were seeing in Sami Zayn. They wanted to cheer for him, and Stardust got about 8 minutes of offense in, and they kind of lost the crowd a bit. Anything, was that below, or what do you think about Stardust and Sami Zayn? I mean, I thought it was just pretty average.
I thought it was below average because I think if you want to build Sami Zayn, have him get through it quick. That's my issue. It lost me. I was daydreaming at the time. So it's kind of like one of those, okay, here we go. We got the heat spot again, kind of let's get to it, guys. When does this match start? And it really kind of just, the placement was bad because we've already been watching 2 hours with very little filler.
Right.
And so it was kind of like, okay, I need to go to the restroom and maybe grab some water or something. So, yeah, other than that match, though, I thought Natty and Charlotte over-delivered. I thought the NXT tag match was fantastic to watch.
Yeah. No, I thought all the matches were good. I think that was my best match of the night. Was
Jericho's swagger seemed weird.
Jericho swagger was weird. I mean, it was a house show on television. What are you gonna do? But the tag title match, the NXT tag title match, Enzo Amore and Big Cass really impressing on what could have been their last night out. I mean, that might have been their best TV match ever.
I'm thinking so, and I think Enzo, angry Enzo, is much better than comedic Enzo.
Oh, absolutely. Just go down and start being a boss.
Yeah.
No, I really like that match too. I thought the show overall, like you said, was really good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. We have people talking about how the problem with the Dean Ambrose Triple H match was that the foot didn't really seem under the ropes.
Yeah, it wasn't obvious, and that's that, especially from that camera angle.
And that also that, John Cone was the referee, office ref was there, and he sees Dean Ambrose, feet under the ropes. But the very next moment when Triple H is using the ropes for leverage on a pin, John Cone is just counting like normal.
I see nothing.
Yeah. It's all about location. It's all about where your eyes are diverted to. Triple H, a master of diverting the ref's eyes to the right place somehow. But yeah, Triple H retained the title. What I thought was the biggest surprise of the night, really for me, was that Roman Reigns didn't come back on that show, but it was tonight on Raw that Roman Reigns made his big return, and he got revenge already on Triple H by beating Triple H all over the place.
I thought the order of events here was a mistake. I liked the comeback. I liked the beatdown, but I mean, Pittsburgh is already a tough town for Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
All things considered.
It was tough tonight. Oh, that's for sure. It was tough.
If you're going to put this stipulation for Dolph, who should not be the guy in this position, because Dolph does have some status to him, and I understand the reasoning here. You have Roman come down and beat up Triple H before the match.
Yeah.
You throw him in there for the super kick. 1, 2, 3. Everybody gets face pops. Everybody wins. If the point here is to make Triple H a heel and to make Roman and to really build up Roman, because Triple H can get booed anytime.
Yeah.
Roman's the problem here. So solve that problem and go after that problem, because this was okay. Roman's going to do the same stuff that Triple H did to both him and Dean Ambrose. Got boos all over the place. The beatdown at the start at back, kind of did okay. And then he's kind of stopped by his family. And it's just like, okay, that's all it took. I didn't like the timing of Roman coming out 20 seconds after Dolph loses, as if it's like, hey, you had a chance to get one over on the Authority here. Where were you at right now? It doesn't make him seem like the mega babyface. It just seems, it makes him seem like he's just out for himself, which is, if this turns into a heel turn, everybody will point to that. But, that they're not that clever. Let's not push that. I thought the total placement of all these things were wrong. Triple H did a fine job of establishing himself as a heel throughout the match. I'm still kind of digesting it, being that we've gone live after Raw, but overall it was just, Triple H beating the crap out of a guy with some cachet with the Pittsburgh crowd, and then Ziggler getting a couple of hope spots before getting beat. I mean, it really did nothing but make Dolph yet again look like an emasculated goof for the second week in a row.
The match, though, I mean, Dolph Ziggler Triple H went, long. I saw people on Twitter talking about how they might go 106 minutes on this one. Triple H and Dolph Ziggler, though. Hey, Triple H, 2 out of 3 nights going 20 plus minutes with the young guys on the roster. And yeah, he beat them both, but it's Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler. They got the rub. What do you think about that, Jeff? They got the rub.
He's such a valiant older champion fighting against these young upstart baby faces. I thought for certain they were going to do the ending of the Survivor Series again, and they were going to have Roman come out, distract Triple H for a moment, then roll up in. I'm like, oh, Sting's back. Oh, wait, that's Roman Reigns.
I did actually. I thought they would go in the main event. So when they came out at 9 or 10 o'clock, that was a little interesting. I thought they would go in the main event, and that Roman Reigns would make his big surprise appearance, because they had given Dolph Ziggler. I mean, the whole point was if Ziggler won, he would get his stipulation, or he would get a match of any kind at WrestleMania. So I was thinking, okay, this is Ziggler's way of getting a match at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns will come out, distract Triple H. There you have your heat for Triple H and Roman.
And then he picked something like the Intercontinental multi-man.
Yeah,
And you can just slip him in there. I mean, that's easy to do. I don't understand the point of this because now, who wants to see Ziggler at WrestleMania now?
Right, and he's going to get a match anyway, even if he's in the Battle Royal, so he's going to get something. But I thought there was a lot of interesting booking decisions on this show. But that was RoadBlock. It was good. I mean, it's worth going out of your way to see the main event for sure. It's worth going out of your way to see the NXT Tag Title match. And now it looks like American Alpha is going to get their solo shot at the Revival, which is going to be excellent at NXT Takeover Dallas. So that's going to be a really good one too. We move over back to Raw full time here. And I want to kind of work. We talked about Triple H, Dolph Ziggler, really good match in the middle of the show. Chris Jericho, an excellent promo in the middle of the show.
I thought so. And he
was heated.
Yeah,
he was on fire. He was getting the people behind. The thing is, they were so busy booing him that they weren't really chanting or ready for AJ Styles. So Chris Jericho had to really play him up, like he basically telling the crowd to chant for AJ. And then they finally did, and they paused until it was at its loudest before AJ comes out, and all AJ does is hit his forearm. So I thought the AJ Styles part of this Raw was kind of flat, but Chris Jericho doing the best job he can to get people excited for what could be an eventual one-on-one match between them, even though now with all the other matches added to WrestleMania, I'm worried that they're not going to be in a singles match, AJ and Chris Jericho. I'm worried they're going to be somehow shoehorned into something else, even if it's the Intercontinental title madness.
This is the best heel Jericho has been in a long time, because it's even better than that Punk run, I think, in terms of being kind of a bratty old veteran trying to keep his spot. I kind of like that. I like bratty Jericho because that was always great. It was great in WCW. It's great here.
Well, that and the fact that, I mean, he's kind of been a tweener here and there. So like he'll show you signs that he's a bad guy. He'll show you signs that he's a good guy. But he's never full on bad guy really for a while.
It's cool bad guy disease.
Yeah, like which the CM Punk feud maybe was the last time he was real bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the last time. So now here he is, true bad guy against AJ Styles, who most crowds will cheer for. This crowd was a little, we had both McMahons on this show, Stephanie and Vince, mocking the crowd, telling them how bad they were during the show, doing their subtle little ways of not specifically telling the crowd they're bad, but kind of making it clear they did not enjoy the crowd's reactions tonight.
I go either way on these things. I don't think you shame an audience for not captivating their attention, but on the other hand, Pittsburgh did underwhelm a little bit in terms of reactions because I think they've had so many big events there. I think it's kind of become rote for them a bit.
Yeah, but this Pittsburgh crowd was getting it from both McMahons. Aside from the matches on this show, maybe we should just talk right now about that Shane Taker segment.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
How do you feel about it? Aside from, I'll say my, overbearing takeaway from the Shane McMahon Undertaker segment. And that was, I don't know if Shane was nervous that he was going to get chokeslammed, if he was worried about how he might take that bump or what was happening. Shane McMahon was, wrestling over, just stumbling over words the whole time, saying things in the wrong place, looking nervous, sweating profusely. Not the regular Shane McMahon that we're used to. I thought Shane was absolutely awful here, and I just felt like I was watching a guy who was nervous about what was about to happen to him. Not in a kayfabe sense, like, okay, he's going in the ring with The Undertaker, but like a guy who hadn't taken a real bump in 10 years knows he's going to get chokeslammed, and he's worried about how he's going to take that bump.
No, I disagree.
Okay.
I viewed it as an actor
who
was told you have to say the lines exactly like this to get your point across, and he is not good at remembering his lines. He's been dropping lines the past couple weeks, according to all reports. Just let him talk. That would be the thing. Let him talk. The whole bullet point argument to me, because you can tell he knows what he's supposed to say, but he's nervous about getting it out and getting it out in the right way. That's why the line about what is it? I'm gonna miss the punch. I mean, he knew what he had to say there. He was just trying to be sure. He was nervous about getting it right and getting it in the right order.
Yeah,
and that's what that was. That's all that was.
You mentioned that line specifically. The very first line he has to say basically is, Undertaker, this is how I'm going to beat you. Oh, and great on Shane McMahon for giving away his strategy, by the way. That's probably the best thing you can do. Shane McMahon in there saying, Undertaker, you're going to throw a punch and I'm going to miss. And then what makes it worse, if he just let it go from there, it kind of works. It's fine. But then he pauses for about 2 seconds and then tries to correct himself. No, you're going to miss. And that's when the crowd just gave it to him. And the Shane McMahon talking wasn't good. Undertaker was Undertaker. He's always fine. Vince was okay in the segment. They didn't try really to explain why Vince and Undertaker would be on the same side or why Undertaker would be fighting for Vince. At least I didn't get any explanation.
I thought Shane did a good job of, the whole you're Vince McMahon's bitch. That's all you need to know is that Vince is a guy pulling the strings.
Well, yeah, Vince is the guy. Yeah, but we got that, yes, but we didn't get exactly, how Vince is pulling the strings and why Undertaker would go along with it.
No, but you gave a good explanation a few weeks ago. He just wanted a match at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
And they're protecting him. They protected him in the Paul Heyman promo.
Yeah.
No, when they ran down the Brock Lesnar's credentials, they did not mention that he is the one to beat Undertaker. They're avoiding that altogether.
That's true. No, you're right. And again, I'm with that. They didn't give an explanation, but I can see one where, Undertaker just wrestles at WrestleMania. That's what he does. He doesn't care who his opponent is. If he's made into a match, he's going to wrestle that match. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, my fear is that they turn it into kind of like another breaking the fourth wall thing, which they did tonight again with the Stephanie and Triple H promo with Dolph.
Yeah.
I'm afraid they're going to say, I don't want these new guys coming up and taking my spot. I just don't want that. Don't make it that. Don't make it new blood versus millionaire.
Especially when lately, there's not a lot of new guys. There's Sami Zayn, and I guess Sami Zayn would be taking Dolph Ziggler's spot, so I suppose he has a case there. Let's go to some of the comments in the chat room. Grammarian on the chat on YouTube says, I thought Dolph came off well in his segment with Stephanie and Hunter. Probably goes right back to where he was, but for one night, he seemed more special. I think he's going to go back to worse than what he was. He's going to be another guy in the Battle Royal. Yeah,
the end of that promo was the best Dolph's been in a long time.
Dolph was heated. Dolph was hot. And you can even see Stephanie.
Oh, yeah, you could tell Stephanie and Hunter both look at him going, yeah, keep going. It's like, great. Good job, Dolph.
Stephanie looked at him with lust in her eyes.
All right, let's not push it.
No, I'm saying, she looked at Dolph like, I didn't know you had this in you.
Yeah.
Why can't you do this more? Please. Joe Lanza on the YouTube chat says, Dean Ambrose would have been cheered like a madman had he been put in the same position as Roman Reigns. Roman period isn't period the period guy period. So
I don't think you're gonna get anybody debating that. I really don't. It's one of those things where, but you know what? This is the army you have, not the army you want.
Camelight 4545 says they gave Roman the best ringside plant since Brie Bella Guy. Did you see the girl going crazy for Roman during the beatdown segment?
Yeah, I thought that might be Celia Bloom at first.
Oh, it could have been Celia. No, I don't know if she's in Pittsburgh if she's on assignment in Pittsburgh. That ringside fan. I tweeted it out at Shake Them Ropes. At Shake Them Ropes, I retweeted the girl going nuts for Roman Reigns, so you can go and find that. We didn't mention yet, but Tavoy says the segment with Foley and Ambrose was cool.
I liked it. I thought it was that barbed, but I liked the whole callback without being a callback to the whole Moxley Cactus Jack thing in Florida that they never got around to.
That's true.
Hey, come back to your past.
Yeah.
This hardcore past that they never really have mentioned on television. I thought that was a sweet, subtle type of thing for us hardcore types who know a little bit more.
I thought
it's a street fight.
It was a street fight.
I didn't like the crowbar thing as much as some people.
I hated the crowbar segment because, Dean Ambrose is the obvious babyface. And when this segment was going on, the crowd cooled on him. And the moment they cooled on him was when he revealed the crowbar, because what you had here was Dean Ambrose calling out Brock Lesnar. Hooray, our guy is calling out Brock Lesnar for a fight. That's awesome. Brock Lesnar comes out. Brock Lesnar doesn't listen to Paul Heyman, his manager, and he goes out for the fight anyway. Woohoo, We're going to finally see the fight. This is the fight we want. Brock is giving us the fight we want. Yay, yay, yay. And then Dean Ambrose has to pull out that crowbar, and the crowd, instead of cheering like crazy, goes silent because they know Dean Ambrose just fucked them out of getting the fight they wanted.
Yeah, this was one that looked good on paper because it's supposed to show, oh, Dean's a planner and he came prepared, but then it's prop comic Dean. He might as well have pulled out mustard and ketchup and squirted it on him.
But where you would think that, okay, this crowbar is now giving Dean an advantage. One, that's bad in itself because now why should the babyface have an advantage? But even if you're saying that Dean is now in a fair fight with Brock because he has the crowbar, how shitty is that?
It's a street fight. That was the whole point.
I know. Well, Brock's got to come out with weapons or some kind. I just thought,
good.
And this isn't my necessarily opinion per se. You saw it in the crowd reaction. The crowd reaction was silence when Dean pulled out that crowbar because they knew Dean Ambrose, the babyface that we like, just screwed us out of seeing this fight that we wanted. When usually the babyfaces should be ready to give you the fight.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah. So I did not like that whatsoever. But it's going to be a mad match at WrestleMania with Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar. So yeah, I mean, even after this card or even after this Raw, we got a couple of matches added, a couple of directions made more clear, but nothing was changed. So are you surprised at the end of this whole weekend, not just RoadBlock, but after Raw, that nothing was changed for WrestleMania?
Nope.
Not surprised one bit. No John Cena either too. So it looks like they're out of time. I'm still 2% that John Cena is going to wrestle at WrestleMania. 2%. But that is down from the 90% I was at like only 3 weeks ago.
We need to get to my favorite segment of Raw.
All right, before we get to your favorite segment of Raw, let's see if we have any more comments.
Okay.
Grammarian, and I don't know if I want to read this one. It's too nice to you. Grammarian says, Jeff pretty much nailed it a couple of weeks ago when he called the whole lockbox Vince secret a MacGuffin. It's totally forgotten now. Wasn't that me?
Might have been. I said it was a MacGuffin. You said it will never be brought up.
Yeah,
again.
It's never going to be brought up again. It was a storyline segment just to bring Shane back, but it's never actually going to lead anywhere. Yeah, I still believe that. I still don't believe it's going anywhere.
Man, you know what? They're going to bring it back at the weirdest time. They are, because that's what they do.
Arturo says Brock's car door is better than Dean's crowbar. If Brock just rips out another car door on the way to WrestleMania, that'd be pretty sweet. Say you have Rusev coming out in a tank again, and then Brock rips the top of the tank off.
I want Brock to just come down with a car door next week and try to attack Dean.
You know what? They didn't do this, and this is total fantasy booking right now. But this is a cool one from Avalanche on the YouTube chat room. They had an easy out for Shane. Ziggler could have stole the victory over Trips and chosen to take Shane's place versus The Undertaker.
Wow.
To run the show.
That's fantastic.
Amazing, actually. Yeah. Ziggler versus Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell would be a match that I think a lot of people would be hyped for, and then a storyline going in where you actually may not know who wins, and one of the underdogs finally controlling the show. Like, we never even had that with Bryan Danielson. I think wasn't there a Survivor Series where he got to run the show 1 week or something like that? But Dolph Ziggler running the show.
Yeah, and just to turn that around, if Shane and Roman are indeed aligned after WrestleMania, that would have been perfect kismet right there, because then, Roman throws in Triple H to the super kick for Dolph. Boom, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but we will get to your favorite segment of Raw in just a moment. I do want to make one quick plug here. The voicesofwrestling.com website. We're doing something that I hope to end up being pretty cool on the voicesofwrestling.com website. A new series. It'll officially launch tomorrow, but a preview is up right now. It is NCAA March Madness. The NCAA tournament is underway tomorrow, Jeff.
Yes.
You're Virginia, number 1 seed, I believe, right?
A little overseeded, and we're stuck with Michigan State for the 3rd year running.
Yeah, that's bad. That's probably not good. But you could have easily just been a number 2 in the same bracket. So, I mean,
and that's what would have happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not the biggest ender in the world, but in celebration of the NCAA March Madness tournament, we are doing a March Madness of our own at Voices of Wrestling. We are calling it Match Madness. It is a 64 wrestler fan voting tournament to set out to find the best wrestler of right now in the fans' minds. If you go to voicesofwrestling.com right now, March Madness, the Match Madness is up there. Right now, we are voting for the first 8. You have the You have the play-in matches in the NCAA. This is a play-in match. You can go up there and vote right now for the last entrant into the real field of 64. And then tomorrow on Tuesday, or if you're listening to this on Tuesday, go to voicesofwrestling.com Tuesday afternoon, and the official brackets will be released for a 64 wrestler best of right now tournament that you all get to vote on. So all the readers get to vote on who they want to move on in each round. So we have a bracket created. We will do polling on the Voices of Wrestling forums. All the information is up at voicesofwrestling.com. So you can go find that right now. The preview is up. So I wanted to make mention of that. Jeff, if you were to do a best wrestler of right now tournament, I just want to ask if you, and I'm putting you on the spot, but who would you put as your number one seeds?
Oh, crud.
And this tournament is for the whole world too. I know we're announcing it here on Shake Them Roast, but the tournament includes New Japan, CMLL, Rev Pro, WWE, Ring of Honor, everyone in the world. So
my number one seeds right now,
Ryback,
Nakamura,
Alex Riley,
Ricochet,
Chris Jericho.
I'd kind of have to put Zack Sabre Jr. because if I didn't, people would cry. And let's see who else. I'd put Jay Briscoe as one seed. Why not?
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Now, you are a Ball State kid, correct?
Yep.
Any famous wrestlers or any wrestlers at all go to Ball State that you know of? Any professional wrestlers?
I don't think so. Do professional wrestlers go to college?
I have a interesting one that went to the University of Virginia.
Really?
Mike Jones, a.k.a. Virgil.
Yeah. I can see that one.
Went to the University of Virginia.
Yep. Marketing genius, that Virgil.
Had to be a scholarship.
Could have been. I don't know. Maybe he's a really smart guy, or maybe he was before the ring. Before the ring busted his bell.
He was a math major. It blew my mind.
Arturo is asking, do we get prizes? No, you don't get prizes. Because I don't know how that would work exactly. It's a March Madness tournament.
You get Rob McCarron's hat.
We're cleverly calling it Match Madness. Hopefully they don't sue us. I don't think they should. But no, it's you get to vote and you make your voice heard on who you want to see as the best wrestler of right now. The brackets will be revealed on Tuesday afternoon at voicesofwrestling.com. But the preview is up right now, including the first 8 that you can go vote on. So go up there and vote right now at voicesofwrestling.com. Tavoy in the chat room says his first 4 would be Johnny Gargano, Katsuyori Shibata, Seth Rollins, and Sasha Banks. We did not include, I will give you this hint right now, we did not include anyone who is currently injured. We wanted the best wrestlers of right now, and we left out, in order to make it more fair and include more wrestlers that are active, because 64, it's hard to kind of press down to 64. There will be snubs. It will be like the NCAA tournament. There will be snubs that you talk about it, and you can discuss it all on the VOW forums. But we did not include Seth Rollins. We did not include John Cena. We did not include Randy Orton.
Toru Yano.
We did not include Alex Riley.
Okay.
We did not include Toru Yano. He is not in the top 64. I will tell you that right now. But we did not include guys who were injured. So the brackets will be revealed tomorrow. I anticipate and hope that you will go check those out and have fun with it.
How come Jeff put Jay Briscoe as a 1 seed, not Naito?
Well, because Naito hasn't won anything.
Because I was on the spot. That's why.
Naito hasn't won anything yet. Grammarian says his first 4 would be Elias Sampson, Cameron, Liv Morgan, and Elias Sampson again. So Elias Sampson probably should have been included. I don't think I included him. That's a misstep on my part, I will say. But your favorite segment of Raw, Jeff, was what?
I absolutely loved New Day versus League of Nations.
Oh, you know what?
I loved everything about this.
I loved it. I liked it.
I loved that they gave Xavier Woods some wrestling credibility here as the quote unquote Buddy Jack Roberts of the New Day.
Xavier was great in this match.
I love that he got that scrappy underdog face type of heat going. I loved that they basically. I hate social media angles for the most part because you have 3 hours of television, but I love that they kind of. They alluded that they had insulted Xavier Woods as not being a part of New Day, so he decided to take it upon himself to get in this match. I loved that. I loved the beatdown afterwards. This is the League of Nations I've been waiting for. Now, I know in WWE tropes, you're always going to have the guys hitting their finisher. I didn't need that. I just needed them to stomp mud holes in these guys because it makes perfect sense. These are kind of the smart alecky sit in the back of the classroom heels who make jokes and stuff. This is the school bully coming in and, okay, comedy boy, now we're going to see if you laugh now. And they beat the crap out of the New Day. I loved everything about that. I love that it was so extended that the crowd turned on and had some emotion about the League of Nations. I love, tearing off shirts, beating the crap out of these guys. That whole match, everything about this was great, with the exception of the name The Lads. That is just dumb.
That's a name, man. That's where they want to be. Wade Barrett's going out on a high note. He wants to be known as The Lads. He's going to be known as The Lads. Just what's going to happen.
Just leave, you know what? Leave it as something amongst themselves then. Don't mention it on commentary because it seems too cute. It's their own little pet name for themselves. That's fine. I can deal with that. How about that, Bree?
Well, you saw in RoadBlock, I mean, King Barrett and Sheamus were coming out just chanting lads all over the place. Lads, lads, lads.
Yeah.
Want to make sure you got that name over.
It's a little too cute by half for me.
Yeah, it might have been. What else on Raw? Anything else that was a big, worthwhile mention? I mean, it looks like we're getting some type of... And now this is what confused me too, because we are going to have a 3-on-3, or it might be for the tag team titles between New Day and League of Nations. And then later on in the show, it looked like Lana is assimilating to Team Bad up against Brie Bella, Paige, and Alicia Fox in some type of 3-on-3.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they're going to have multiple 3-on-3 matches. You also have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. What are they going to do with the Dudleys and the Usos? Are they going to be in just a straight tag team match, or are there going to be a couple of other teams in there? They're starting to kind of fill out a lengthy card for this show, and all of them. I mean, I could say half of this card could go on the pre-show, and that's not a good thing.
No, my notes. I understand the Rybacks and Cara squash. Because it sets up that match officially. I'm not a big Ryback guy, but you know what? That's what they're going to do. My major note was, can we get rid of the only thing they seemed to do all night was, okay, some guy's going to have a match. His opponent's going to be down at ringside automatically giving commentary, and then he's going to distract later. It drove me nuts. This was the only move they had, it seemingly all night. Yeah. And oddly enough, the one time that they needed it was the Roman Reigns, Dolph Ziggler, Triple H match, and they didn't do it. That's the thing that kind of angered me here, because it's like Lana did it, the Dudleys sort of did it, Kevin Owens did it. It was just, it's like, do you have anything else? Can you do inset promos, for God's sakes? Do something else to switch up the tone of the show, because it's like you can almost predict it, where it's like, okay, he's out there, he's going to interfere, distraction finish or distraction fake out finish to real finish. Every single segment was like that, and it was just like, we don't need that. We don't need get some of those creative minds working here on the road to WrestleMania. Script it out a little bit for a couple weeks. Figure it out, guys.
And it was mentioned in the chat, and we'll mention it now. Neville looks like he possibly hurt his ankle in the Chris Jericho match. If you see the slowdown of that,
really,
it looks like he rolled that over.
I didn't buy that. I thought that was part of the match.
It looks like, unless he's really good and made it look like he was rolling that over, and there's gifs out there of it slowed down where he goes to do a slide and his ankle just doesn't go, and it gets stuck in the mat. So there could be some trouble there for Neville.
Oh, the one thing I have in capital letters. Hey, let's stop putting flying aerial guys against Miz, because Miz isn't going to catch him.
He's not going to catch him. No, he's not going to catch him. I mean, you should know that by now. The Miz is going to catch you.
Catches alligator arms against these guys. Why?
Yeah. He's not going to catch a dude. What are you even trying? And how are you not smart enough to know that he's not going to catch you either? Just do a bunch of rolls. You got to figure something out.
I got this one. Trust me.
Jackie Moore in the Hall of Fame. You hyped?
I like her. I thought she was always undervalued. I'm not gonna play the racism card.
Well,
but
don't.
She was. Well, no, but it's been brought up in terms of how high Jackie could go in the various companies she was in. She was always kind of muscular and a little bit more masculine than most guys would like. But I mean, she was solid in everywhere she was. I mean, she was taking top rope cage dives from Gail Kim in TNA. She was great in USWA. She was great in WCW, and she was solid in WWE. I have no problem with this whatsoever. And, you know, she was known as Miss Texas. Let's put her in Texas. I got no problem with this.
Yeah, Jackie Moore adds to I wouldn't say a star-studded version of the Hall of Fame, but it's pretty deep. It's a deep version of the Hall of Fame.
If they add Stan Hansen, you know,
if they do,
it'll be even better.
If they add Stan Hansen. You don't watch the Edge and Christian show, do you?
I've watched clips. Like I watched that clip today
of AJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
that was funny.
It's not only funny, but it's interesting to me as a guy where they don't, you know, WWE.
Well, it's on the WWE network. Vince isn't producing it.
Yeah, that's why.
They can
nobody from corporate is watching this, so they can make reference to the Bullet Club, which I thought the Mullet Club was hilarious, and I you know, the TNA joke popped me. I'll admit that.
Yeah, they did the TNA joke at AJ's expense. They did the Bullet Club joke at the Bullet Club's expense.
Go watch,
but they mentioned it.
Yeah. Watch Christian's reaction when they bring up TNA as well, because he has a classic one. It's like, gosh, I hope they don't call on me about talking about TNA.
Yeah, Christian seems not to like his time there. So, but
but the uncomfortableness was played up for the camera. That's what it was.
You can go watch that voicesofwrestling.com/WWE network, the Edge and Christian show. I never thought I would watch a second of that show, and then I went and watched that minute of AJ Styles' appearance.
It has its moments. It really does.
Joe Lanza on the chat room says, I legit don't remember a single Jacqueline WWE moment. She is the epitome of a footnote.
That's fine.
She was in the Royal Rumble 2000 lingerie contest.
Hold on, let me stop this. I don't view the WWE Hall of Fame as some sort of legitimate Hall of Fame. I view it as an inclusive celebration of wrestling. Now, if they want to put in a woman, and this is mostly for diversity's sake. Jacqueline's as good a choice as any that's out there right now. Yeah. Who else are you going to put in? Molly Holly? I mean, she's great. Or is she already in?
I don't think Molly. Oh, is Molly? I don't think Molly Holly's in.
Okay, they need a woman. Give me someone better, and we'll put her in.
She wrestled. She wasn't just a manager in WWE, and she had a career before WWE. And they've put people in who have had careers outside of WWE. I mean, they're putting Sting in. You know, so
I mean, the Godfather's in the Coco Beware wing of the WWE Hall of Fame.
I seem to remember she did something with Mae Young, and I'm trying to look it up. I don't know. Was she? I think she was in the lingerie contest or the bikini contest at Royal Rumble 2000.
She was a champion for a while.
But yeah, I don't know if she was. I think she did something else with Mae Young, and I'm not quite sure.
Unfortunately, my WCW bias is coming through, and all I can remember is her, Teddy Long, and Rodney Mack.
Well, of course, naturally.
Who Lanza loves. Shout out to Rodney Mack, right?
Jackie was she was topless on referee Tim White, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. She's had moments, Joe. She's had moments. Grammarian says Molly Holly is not in, but she and Ivory were part of a table for three with Medusa.
It's a great table. That's a great episode.
So they can possibly go in at some time. So this is what is going to happen due to battery issues right now on the computer. The podcast version, if you are listening to the podcast version, coming up in just a moment is going to be match number 41 on our top 100 countdown. Mike Awesome versus Masado Tanaka from Heatwave 1998. We're going to discuss that match. If you are watching on demand, the show is wrapping up here. We are going to turn off the video feed. I want to thank everyone for watching on the video feed and chatting along with us live. Our next show isn't scheduled for another couple of weeks. I think we're going to do something. We're going to do a couple of things during the week of WrestleMania. I don't know exactly what yet, but follow us on Twitter at Shake Them Ropes for all of the information. Be sure to hit the like button. And in the description of this video on YouTube right now, and at the website voicesofwrestling.com, we have a link right now. The pre-order price has gone down for NXT's Greatest Matches Volume 1. This is the DVD where we talked about you're getting the CM Punk and Seth Rollins versus the Kings of Wrestling match. We talked about this, I think, on last week's show.
Yeah, lack of a curb stomp discount.
Lack of a curb stomp, but you're getting the never-before-seen match that was taped at NXT between CM Punk, Seth Rollins versus the Kings of Wrestling, Cassius Ohno and Cesaro. That DVD was normally $35. Right now in the pre-order, it comes out tomorrow, but if you pre-order it using the link below, it is only $22.99. So you get a $12 discount if you pre-order it tonight using the link in the description. We also have a link to the Match Madness, the VOW Match Madness that is debuting tomorrow. Click that link, go vote, figure out who gets in the top 64, and then you can vote all the way through the winner to find out who the champion will be at the end of Match Madness. So I want to thank everyone that is watching on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the video, like it, and we will see you all shortly here on the VOW YouTube. Stay tuned on the audio podcast feed. We'll be right back.